Okay, so you've got your back all pieced together, and I've just started off here. So I'm using mid-brown cotton. Sorry, I'm just trying to set everything up. I do have the children home with me, so there's a possibility that people may be running in and out. Okay, so I'm just doing these blackberry leaves at the top. So we're just going to stitch around the edge and get around this tripod. Right. I've forgotten how awkward this is to sew with this going. Okay, so I've got my... Put your pattern near you so you can see a bit better what you're doing. Okay, so we're just going to sew around the outside first. Now the leaves are jagged, so if I put a little notch in the pattern, try and keep it in as you do. So once we've got all the way around, we're just going to go and sew the extra details in now, rather than coming back and doing them later. So up around the top, get that zigzag in. On the second time round, try and exaggerate any of the zigzaggy, you know, serrated edges. So up to the top, and then we're going to go sweep down, so we want to end up here when we finish, okay? Adding in some of those zigzags as we go. Okay, back up again. My hand's in the way. No, okay. Okay, around, up to the top. Okay, and then we're going to sweep up here and show that underside of that leaf. And try and keep all your lines. So this bottom edge here doesn't need any, shouldn't have any of the zigzags in because that's the smooth underside. Okay, back round there. Right, this leaf is quite flicked up. So all that bottom. Like that. We'll add the leaf veins in later. Okay, so that's one leaf done. So we're going to carry on and do the same thing for all these top pieces here. So, and you can see them. So we're going to do this leaf. So we'll take the teasel off, sew the leaf down, put that teasel on. No, James, don't, James. Sorry, I'm having little helpers here. Leave it alone, James. Okay, so sew down that teasel and the other teasel and the little blackberries which are down here. And they are very small. Don't worry if they move too much because there's no exact reason that they should be wherever they are. Okay, and then we'll sort it out changing threads. Okay, something I should mention here is it is a little bit different when you're working on patchwork as opposed to having a nice plain background. Shut up, guys! Sorry. So sometimes you have to position your pieces carefully. So here I've got this little teasel and I want it roughly around here, trying to make it so that you don't have it, so that it's just catching onto another piece or you're going over a seam, because it doesn't make it awkward. Okay, so try and bridge it so that you're definitely either on or off. Usually when I design them I try and make sure there's anything really detailed, that it's not going to be, it's on a nice big flat plain bit and not over lots of seams. Okay, so just try and make it so you're not making life difficult for yourself. Okay, so next I've changed the thread to it's kind of well, you can't really see, it's a beige. So we're just going to add some zigzags onto the teasels here. I hope you're up for a lot of thread changes, because this is going to be one with a lot of thread changes. We should count them and see how many we go. So I'm just going to zigzag and fill this in. Watch out for the end of your thread, just to make them look a bit more teasely. Okay, and over to the next one. It also helps that if where you've been going over these seams, if you've got any puckers or a little bit of slack where the pieces have moved a little bit as you've been working, this will help smooth them out a bit for you. Okay, Right, I'm going to change over now to a variegated cream so we can do the stems. You could keep on with this one, but I'm not going to. Okay, I've got my variegated thread on. So what we're going to do first, I've turned, this one's a thicker thread that I'm using, so it's a superior threads King Tut one, so that it's a hand quilting one, so it's quite thick. So I've got my tension down to half what I normally would. Okay, so right, so start at the bottom. Nope, and I can see that my tension is a little bit too low. Get rid of that end thread. Okay, so I've drawn you some guidelines in, but basically you just want a couple, and they have like they sometimes fork a little bit as well, so, and then a couple of down ones, and they're shorter because that's the, is it sepals? I'm not very up on my plant names. Okay, and then we're going to get that stem down. So you want to kind of curve it off so it goes fairly quickly, otherwise you're going to be drawing it all the way to the bottom. And try and keep it all as smooth as you can so we're not getting any puckers in it. So you just go back and forth. People sometimes ask if these are hand stitched because they don't look like machine stitching, but that is all I'm doing. I'm just going slowly back and forth. Okay, so that's one done. So the second one, I probably should have done that one first actually, rather than this one, but mind. And you could use a darker thread here, but I think this looks quite nice because it's kind of keeping that kind of cool feeling that we've got. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to bring the stem down into the teasel and then across, down, oh you can't see, down here, and then just curving off the side. Okay, so I'm on now to sewing the blackberry stems. So I've changed thread and I'm using, I can't really show you, but it's like a reddy autumny colour. So it goes from a darker red through to muted greens. Having said that, it was nice having the cooler colours. We do need to get some warm colours in here as a bit of a contrast. Okay, so I'm just going to slowly stitch these stems, and we want to make them spiky. So every now and again do a little dip like a thorn. Okay. And then up to this one. I often say when you're doing stems to not make them too smooth, because plants aren't smooth, you know, they're all jerky and things, but actually blackberry stems are pretty smooth. So okay, so it looks like I've got the two up to these leaves, and then I'm going to go back down again, and I'm just going to curve up the top. So this one should be quite a thick stem because this is the main plant stem. I'll just put it across there. So this is effectively framing our owl, really. So that's all we're doing. So you don't want to go too low. And crowd your owl. Alright, I've got a little tuck there. I don't know if you can see that. I've got a little tuck there, which really looks like it could do with something being put there, doesn't it? I think. So the advantage of a plique is you could make it. So I think I'm going to put a blackberry there. Mine's going to have an extra blackberry than's on the pattern in a minute, I think. There we go. So, sorry, James has got quite a noisy toy car, so I hope you can still hear me. So I'm going to stitch down and just add in that one blackberry. And of course I will say this is how I always meant it to look. Okay. Why not, huh? There you go, now I can see now. Oh, now look, I don't know if you can see here, but this foot is coming loose, so just watch out. You'll notice it more when you're doing this kind of, where you're going on over thicker seams. So I'm just going to carry on the rest of this stem down through these blackberries at the bottom. And those blackberries actually come from a different branch off the quilt really, so we don't have to worry about joining that one up. Probably would have been easier to put some of these stems in before embroidering the blackberries on, but it's not always that easy to decide where they should go and stuff. Oh, doesn't that look nice against that dark blue? It's really, really zingy. Okay, and then we'll just get these blackberries so they kind of sweep in from over here in a nice graceful way. So across to them, down, I don't think you need to worry too much about making them thorny really. I have to do all this. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to lift my foot up. There we go. I'll have to do this all again at the bottom because there's some more blackberries around the owl, but I thought I'd just show you this top section. And I'll probably sneakily do that off camera. Okay, so we need another thread chain. Okay, I've changed thread again. But this time we're on, it's like a tan, variegated tan. So normally I would put green veins on for green leaves, but I want to be bringing in some oranges into this quilt because the owl was going to have orange eyes and I don't want it to stand out, to look odd. So we're going to bring in those colours, and it contrasts nicely with the blue as well, which is why I was doing the quilt in blue in the first place, was because I knew that we were going to have those nice orange eyes on the owl. Okay, so just neaten those up so you can see what I've done there. So because of the way the leaf's folded, it's not as easy. So you've got a little bit there. That one's not so bad. And here you need to stop because this is the underneath of the leaf. So I've just done that a little bit there, and those go up to there. And that really helps make it look like it's curved anyway. Okay, so I'm going to carry on and do this leaf here. Okay, back with another colour change, so on to a variegated green this time, and we're just going to put in the tops of the blackberries. Okay. I'm not sure everyone wants to hear your game, James. Okay. Playing placement pat. Okay, so a little bit on each. So you just put in a little bit of green colour at the top. It don't need to be anything spectacular. Okay, I'll do another one just to show you, and then I'll do the rest whilst you're not looking. Okay, so they kind of curl back on themselves a little bit. So it'll just give a little bit of green colour in there, that should be nice. Okay. Now you could, if you wanted, find a purple and put a bit of berry detail onto the berries, but I'm not going to do that. I think it's busy enough on them. Okay. Right, so that's that top section done now. It's looking very pretty. So what we're going to do now is we're going to we're going to work on the owl. In fact, yes, owl first. Okay, so you've got all your pieces arranged on your owl. Now it's going to be a little bit fiddly, this one, so we're going to stitch, and I just want to stitch around the edge, okay, the actual owl. There's obviously quite a lot of layers because you've got 4 different shades of brown here. 4? 1, 2, yeah, 4 shades of brown. So just keep those layers together. And then I'm not going to go at this point with this brown. I'm not going to go around here because I don't really want to make that so defined as using that brown. James is back. So I'm going to carry on and go around his body. Just watch out for those seams that you're still making sure you're getting it flat. Okay, I'm going to go down to his feet. Okay, so around, and then I'm going to go around his body here. So I'm just working out, I'm kind of making this up as I'm going along really, so. Okay, so I'm going to go around that because I want to bring that forward. I'm going to go up now around his wing. Just make sure your layers don't shift as you're going. Okay. Sorry, my hand's getting in the way. My hand's don't get in the way, sorry. Right, so I think what we'll do now is I do want to go around this wing, so we'll just nip down and go around it. And back up again. Alright. Okay, so we're going to make this very jagged. Oh, actually, I'm not sure whether I want to go around in that colour or not. Yes, we will. We will. Okay. So we're probably going to stitch fairly heavily over this in a lighter thread. But okay. Right, so second time round. And just exaggerate any of those cut-ins. Oh, and we do need to go down for his tail. So when we get to here, we're going to go around this side because I don't want to go over that bit because I want that to be nice and that's his underside. I want it to be nice and light and fluffy. Okay, but I do want his tail defined. So we'll go around this way. I'm going to just stitch around this mid-brown. Okay, round again. And then back up whichever side of the wing we didn't do before. So then that should be all the outline sewn twice. Okay. Okay, so I've got a different thread on now. So this is a variegated kind of ash brown, so it's cool shades. I think it's a Madeira Katona variegated one. So we're going to start adding in too attention a bit. So I'm just going to go around his face here. So I picked this one, so some of it will be dark, but some of it's quite light, so it should give a softer look. So I don't really want to have his head defined too much. I can help it. that's worked quite nicely actually, because I've got a very light bit of him. So we're going to whiz round and add in. I don't really want to put loads of feathers in, because once you start with feathers, you never know when to stop, and the fabric's pretty enough and gives a kind of feathery look. So we're just going to go around the outside and add some detail in, but not very much. Okay. And basically, I'm just exaggerating anywhere that I'd marked in as a feathery area. Right, I'm going to be brave here, and we're going to get his legs, breast in. So up there. I guess it's his legs, isn't it? Makes him look like he's got some upside down cleavage anyway. Okay, and here we're just going to make this look a bit fluffier. Okay. Right, and then we'll go down and we'll add some feather detail. So these ones I will put in some more, because these are his more obviously flight feathers. We'll just put some nice sweeping lines in there. And because I'm using a thread colour that's quite similar to the background fabric, it's a little bit easier to do on that. Okay, so same thing up here. Let's get some sweeping feathers up. I'm just going to give him the impression of feathers without having to kind of stitch every single one in and then get it in the wrong place. Okay, so background here. So around the bottom of his neck. Let's just stitch around his head. He wants to get quite tufty around here, really. I'm going to have to add his beak in and his eyes in a minute. Okay, so I think what I'll do next is I'm going to change over and we're going to get some light colours in here to help define the edge around his face. Okay, so I said I was going to do is define his face, but I've changed my mind. We're going to get this beak in. I think I'll feel happy when he's got his beak in of what he's actually going to look like. Okay, so I've gone to the outline in brown. Got my tension on. Okay, oh, he suddenly looks very owly now. Okay, so we can fill his beak in a minute. Okay, so let's get his eye in. Okay, so I can't say this is my favourite bit. So you just have to keep on positioning your needle until you think it looks like it's in the right place, really. And we're just going to do a quick outline. Because as long as you haven't stitched too much, it's fairly easy to keep on covering what you've done. But once you start, I think it looks alright. To bring his brow seems to have gone a bit high, so I could do bringing that down with some shading later. There's the advantage of adding the embroidery, is if you notice somewhere that's gone a bit, doesn't look quite like it was supposed to, you can shape it later. So there we go, he's got a face now. So I'm just going to change my thread over to this one. So I've got a little person hanging under my arm here as well. So it's like a grey orangey one. What are you doing? Right. Okay, so I've got this one on now. So I'm going to pull his brow down a little bit because I think my fabric kind of moved a little bit when we were sewing. So I'm just going to fill in where I kind of actually wanted it to go. quite brave with this one because it's a funny, when you get variegated browns, they have a tendency to put in an odd colour. So this has got like a bit of greeny kind of colour in it as it's going. So. But I've learned you just kind of have to be brave and just go for it, and it doesn't look as odd as you think it does when you're sewing it. Okay, so I'm just feathering out this bit here. And then we're going to change over to a cream. Okay, so I'm on with the cream now. So, James. So we've got police cars now. Okay, so, want me to turn my tension down? It might. Too much? Back up again. You have to fiddle with these things a bit. So I'm just defining this a bit now in this watercolour, of which I really should have changed my bobbin colour because it's coming through a little bit. I'll try and carry on. What are you doing, James? Okay, now we're going to be brave now, and we're going to take this down here and start trying to go a bit around his eyes. So you need to go horizontal stitches so it's really fluffing out around his eyes. Okay, and we're going to go up, go around his eye a bit, lifting up into that corner there. I don't know if you can hear James chattering here. Okay, so we're just James is holding my arm again. It's not as easy to stitch if you've got someone holding your arm. You put that down. You put that down. I don't need you playing with that. Put the lens off my camera. I don't need sticky marks all over it. Do I, James? Right. I think someone's calling for me. Right. Okay, so I think that's his around his eye done. So we're just going to use where we've got it threaded up. We're just going to go down to his tail feathers. Sorry, underneath his tail feathers. So there's this is kind of his really downy feathers. Okay, so we're just going to fill that in. You need to make sure that you've secured that edge down as well. That's James chattering, not me.
What's chattering?
Chattering, it's what you're doing, James. What are we doing with my scissors? Where have they gone?
I'm sure
I know scissors are sharp.
they really are sharp.
They are very sharp. You have to be very careful with scissors.
They're so sharp.
Yeah. We don't play with my scissors, do we? Yes, but they're just too sharp. So, okay, so you need to get... What's next? Yes, when you're big enough you can have scissors. So we need something for his eye. Now I think somewhere I've got a nice rayon if I can find it. I have quite orangey eyes, so that's quite a good colour. Can I find it? I'll switch off while I'm going. Okay, so I've threaded up. I found my rayon, but I'm going to be very brave, and I'm going to use quite a bright orange. Okay, and we're just going to stitch.
I'm waving my hand up.
Yeah, James is on the back of my chair now. Hopefully, when you're sewing, you won't actually have anyone jumping up and down on you while you go. Everyone else is being quiet. So okay, so I've got a nice orange in there. So I'm just going to quickly, I'm just using that as a bit of a base really. So I'm going to put this rayon, which I like rayon, and you do get it in really nice colours, but it's not the nicest one to actually thread your machine up with. I just tend to put it on really low tension, hope for the best really. It has that nice shiny look. Okay, so yeah, I'm actually on it. My chair it's even worse in the fact that I've got a wheelie chair that I'm sat on, which James is shifting around at, so on the back of me, nudging me as well. So, not ideal. Okay, that's that filled in. I think it needs something else in there, but I'm going to have a think about what other colour it needs, so just trim out those. The actual eye needs a little bit of neatening up. Okay, but while I'm having a think about that, we'll colour in his beak. I think it maybe needs something brighter. Oh, God, I've just dropped my rayon, it's gone everywhere. I'm going to ignore it. Right, so what do we want? Beak colour. Beak colour. Use this one. So it's got a bit of yellow in. I'll use the same for his feet as well. Okay, so I've done this one. So we're just going to colour his beak in. Now we have a kind of nostril-y thing going on, so kind of make a loop for that and don't colour that in, and that'll give enough of a impression. Okay. I think we need to go over with. Oh, my thread just snapped. There it dissipated. Right, well, I'm going to go down to his feet next. No, not your feet, James. Right, we'll just get those. Oh no, we can't do his feet next, can we? Oh, and I've just rethreaded it all. Okay, what next then? Okay, we need to put his branch in first that he's stood on. So I'm going to outline this in that ash variegated brown that I had before.
You just hold this tiger bit.
Shh, Nance. Come on, right you go. You don't need talk of tigers. I've already got Postman Pat. So we want this really, it's really split, so, nice big lines in it. They don't have to be straight, which is a good job since James is behind me. I don't need to worry too much about catching down that bottom edge. I'm just going to quickly, I'll just catch it down once, but with any luck it'll be in our seam allowance, so for the binding. But we better catch it down just in case we miss a little bit. And it gives us the opportunity to put a couple of stitches up as well. Okay, so he's got something to stand on now, so we can do his feet next. Okay, so I'm threaded back up for his feet. Now sometimes I outline the feet and then colour them in, and sometimes I colour them in and then outline them. It just depends really what you fancy. So I'm just looking at this, and he actually should have a little bit of tail feathers. Fluffy feathers, which I've forgotten to cut out, so we're going to need to add those in. There's some stitches, I think. So around for his first talon, toe, bit of foot, wherever they are. Okay, so it's got one which is complete. So I'm just going to zigzag, well not zigzag, stitch back and forth in nice smooth lines. That way you don't tend to bunch it up as much. Okay, and then you can just catch the sides of another one just around the side here. So just a little bit of that one that's clawing around. Okay, and then a bit of the one at the back, going down there. Okay, and then the other foot, and this one's more straight on. James, you be quiet. Stop nudging me. It's pretty much on my lap now. Okay, so we're just going to carry on like that. Okay, so I've drawn his feet in, and I also added a little bit of more fluffy white bit, which I forgot to do. So in the pattern I'll mark out that should have been fabric. James, quiet, please. Oh, chaos is all breaking out here now. Right, I've just threaded up for a very dark brown. James, if you can't be quiet, you'll have to go away. Right, okay, so we're just going to outline his feet now. What did I say about being quiet, James? He's not being quiet, you know. Rabbity, 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 that's what you're doing, isn't it, James? Okay, so just stitch around what you've done. And then we also want to find the talons. Okay, so as you go around the second time, just draw in, draw in that nail, claw. And I've used quite dark brown here. Okay, same thing over here, except these ones are more hidden. Got my tension on. Just like looping a bit then. Okay, so that's that bit done. Okay, so last bit is his eye. Now while the camera is off, I did actually... This is a dark brown, it looks almost black, but it is dark brown. I found this thread. Can you see that? It's quite a orangey copper, and I went a little bit around the outside in that, and I also used a cream and just highlighted that eye a little bit, which I think looks better. So what I'm doing now is very, very carefully, James permitting, is to go round the eye in this dark brown. Okay, so I'm just going to go the once because I don't want to make it too dark, and we're just going to add in a little bit more in that central eye. Watch out that your foot's still attached. Okay, I think that's enough there. Right, I think that's him done. So all we've got to do now is just add in those extra blackberries at the bottom.